Welcome to the Epic Man Podcast, the show about the wildest news in entertainment and culture and everything in between. I'm Josiah, and with me I have my one and only dear friend and co-host, Mike, because Ben decided not to show up once again. So how are you doing today, Mike?
Listen, man, I'm doing great. I'm here. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to talk to people. I'm having a good time.
And you know what? That's what I appreciate about you, Mike. You show up, you know?
I show up.
And that's all I ask for at the end of the day, you know?
It's the little things, you know?
Just to have people show up is a wonderful, wonderful thing. So I'm glad that you're here, and I'm excited to talk about what we're gonna talk about today. I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting show. We don't have like a whole lot of news that came out this week, but we got some pretty juicy things to talk about as far as some subjects and stuff.
Juicy.
And I got my coffee, and I'm ready to rock and roll.
I don't have coffee. I don't drink coffee.
You know, I love you, but that's a flaw.
Well,
it's a character flaw.
Listen, I have other drugs of choice that I'd rather be doing.
I feel you.
That was a joke too, but
like
also
like whiskey or something, or
like Coke.
Like Coke or Coke.
We got to talk about some stuff on this podcast, man. Like we got to move on to some other subjects. Don't worry about what I do in my spare time.
All right, I'm not worried. I'm not worried at all, man. I'm not worried at all. You do
Good.
You.
Yeah. Listen, Ben's doing him. I got to do me.
Exactly.
I'm here.
Yep.
So even if I have a severe cocaine addiction, I'm good.
Dude.
Ben's not here.
Dude, I don't freaking care if you have a cocaine addiction as long as you show up, you know?
That's what I'm saying. Listen, as long as you show up, it doesn't matter what you're addicted to.
Yeah, I don't give a crap.
Please don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I know.
But I want to apologize to all the people who have coke addictions that listen to this show. I'm very sorry.
Man, you just gave them the itch, man.
Yeah. I know. Go drink coffee instead.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, we have something very interesting that's happening right now. That it's the Game Awards. The Game Awards for 2020 is taking place right now. You can go and cast your vote for what you want to be the game of the year. That is completely available. If I remember, I will try to leave a link to it in the description, but all you need to do is go to thegameawards.com/nominees, and there you can cast what you want to be the game of the year. So
yes,
there's 6 games right now that are eligible to be game of the year, and they are as follows: Doom Eternal,
boom,
Final Fantasy VII Remake,
yep,
which you love, right? You big fan of that? Big fan of that.
Well, you love it, man. We got 4 more to go, baby.
Ghost of Tsushima, Hades, which I actually literally have never even heard of Hades. I don't know what Hades is about. I don't know anything about Hades. Well, I know about like the Greek mythology Hades, but not the game Hades. So, but then there's Animal Crossing New Horizons apparently is up for game of the year, which is interesting. And then The Last of Us Part 2. So those are the 6 games that are up for game of the year, and then there's a bunch of other categories as well and stuff, but that's kind of the big prize right there, kind of the best picture, you could say. So I cast my vote for Ghost of Tsushima because it is an incredible game. Story is amazing, graphics are just so good. Sound design is fantastic, and it had such a great character development, such a great it's a masterpiece of a game. If I was to choose for a second place in any of that, it'd probably go to Doom Eternal. I really enjoyed the heck out of Doom Eternal. It was a very enjoyable game. And I don't know. And like the Doom Eternal obviously doesn't really have all that much for it when it comes to like a story or anything. Like, you know, the story is just kind of like it's there, you know, and stuff. But it's one of those games that's just a pure adrenaline rush, just pure fun, and that's all that it is, and it's a great time.
There you go.
So, Mike, my question to you is, between those 6 incredible experiences besides The Last of Us Part 2, which one would you choose for Game of the Year if you were to pick?
Boy. Oh boy.
Which I know is tough for you because you don't play some of those games, like Ghost of Tsushima.
I have to own
The Last of Us, which is sad. You know,
I would have to go back on personal values if I was going to play some of those games, because I'd have to spend money on a PlayStation. Listen, if anybody out there wants to give me a free PlayStation so I can play these games, I'm not going to say no. Just so I can play them. I'll give it back to you at the end. I don't care.
Dude, I will let you take one of my PS4s when I get a PS5, and you can experience all of these wonderful games.
And then I'll come back and be like, I'm so sad that I had to do that. Listen, I'm going to say something super crazy here, and this is going to sound nuts, and I get it. I think Animal Crossings.
Actually, you know what? I would not be surprised at all.
Yeah, I think for the year that everybody's had, everything that was going on, there was just something super nice about having this like chill, whimsical, fun, like adventure. And listen, I played the original Animal Crossings on GameCube. That game was so much fun. And like, I don't have a Switch, and maybe one day I'll, get a Switch and I'll try it. I'm sure I'll like it. But like, I don't know. I remember seeing a lot of people be like, hey, this is nice to just like get into this and like have a fun island experience. And like, I don't know. I think from an art standpoint, there's something to be said about a game that had such a cultural impact that it made people feel together and at peace for the first time, like in such a tumultuous year.
Yeah.
So if I'm going by that, I got to give it to Animal Crossings. I think that they did a good thing. However, I also have another thought.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy isn't a new game. It's a remake. A bad remake of a game that's considered amazing. And they're going to be like, "Lay, give me that game of the year. Give me that game of the year, because I released another game that I basically just like redid part of. It's not even a full game. It's a remake of like the first quarter of 7, and they're like, we got more later, guys. I promise. We're releasing part 2. Listen, you don't get to vote yourself game of the year until you release a complete game, and then everybody can play it and decide whether or not they like it.
It's a little weird. When did the original, or when did Final Fantasy 7, like the original one, come out?
Oh my God, was it 1988? 1997. Yep. 1997. Okay. And they're gonna come in here in 2020, be like, hey yo, we did this new game. Like, do you guys like it? And I'm like, that's not new.
My question is, what was the game of the year in 1997, if that was even a thing?
I'm sure it was a thing. Let me see.
Yeah. GoldenEye 007.
Yeah,
it didn't even win Game of the Year in 1997.
Well, no. Dude, and Final Fantasy 7 is a good game.
Right.
But it's just like, GoldenEye, I mean, dude, GoldenEye like blew everybody out of the water.
Yeah. So if it's not even going to win Game of the Year as the original experience, like, I don't know. It seems a little weird to be putting it in 2020, you know?
Doesn't it though?
A little weird.
Yeah, just like, why is this a thing? Like,
yeah. I mean, there's some other good games that came out this year they could have put in there, you know, in that slot, but apparently not. Apparently not.
I don't know what the deciding factor is on like game of the year. You know, like how they decide, well, this is now the game of the year and stuff like that. But I mean, like, if we're just like grabbing games that have come out already that somebody just like rehyped and like repackaged, like, dude, throw Among Us in there. I get it came out 2 years ago or 3 years ago and nobody played it until recently. But like, listen, just say, hey, listen, we're gonna give it to this guy because, you know, this game got super popular this year.
Yeah.
If you're just gonna like go and take a game that's already been out since 1997 and be like, we slap some new skin on that bad boy and then completely change the game mechanics that all the fans know and love, and then didn't even release the full game, just a quarter of it, and said we'll get back to it eventually, give us game of the year, then give Among Us game of the year.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I got a crazy one too. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I know it's not everybody's bag of tea, and I think this is sacrilege because I have an analogy between the two, but I also think that Call of Duty Modern Warfare got a little overlooked.
I agree. I don't know if that would be if that would.
Oh, that was a 2019 game. But what I mean is, like, okay, let me
But
Warzone
came out in 2020.
Warzone, that's what I meant. I think Warzone gets overlooked. I think
I agree.
You know, it's a battle royale game. I get it, but like, look at the impact it had on people. Once again, cultural impact, huge.
Yeah.
You know, I get that, like, you know, Call of Duty games and stuff. It's like giving an Oscar to a Fast and Furious movie.
Yeah, right.
That's never going to be a thing. But I don't know. To me, there's some of that. Ori, Will of the Wisps came out this year. There's some other games that came out that I'm like, listen, guys, like, there's a lot of ways to, like, I don't know. I just don't get it. I think it's,
I mean, if they're gonna give you know, Game of the Year nomination to Doom Eternal, you know, it seems like that it's not that far fetched to give it to like Warzone or something too.
No.
So
and Doom Eternal's great. I love Doom Eternal. It's awesome.
It's great. It's a great game.
But
but they knocked it out of the park with Warzone, and I think that definitely deserves a little bit of credit and stuff.
Absolutely.
Especially being Call of Duty, having such a rough few years and stuff, you know, coming back with Modern Warfare and then Warzone and stuff, and you know, they did a great job. They really did a great job. They made they made Call of Duty kind of, you know, cool again and relevant.
Oh yeah.
So that's something that seems like it got overshadowed. I'm trying to look through these categories here to see if Warzone got nominated for anything.
Probably not.
I'm trying to see. It doesn't. I'm not seeing Warzone popping up here in anything, which is fair. Oh, okay. So there's one best multiplayer. So it did get nominated for best multiplayer.
Gotcha. They probably won't win that though either. They'll just be like, nah, bro.
Among Us is among the best multiplayers. So I guess they are throwing Among Us in this year.
There we go. But
in that case, Among Us should have absolutely have been one of the game of the years. It was, I mean, it was a cultural experience. so it's, I mean, Among Us it still is huge. People love Among Us so much. So
yeah, I will say this, even though I haven't played it, based on the things I've seen about it, read about it, everything like that, the surprise with the addition of multiplayer, everything, I do think that overall Ghost of Tsushima is probably going to win it, and I think it's well deserved.
You do think that Ghost of Tsushima is going to win it?
Yeah, I think so. I just think,
I hope so.
Of all, I remember everybody that I heard talk about the game, like critics to fans, friends, every single person said it was a phenomenal game. They loved it. And then, like, when you think the game kind of like died down a little bit because everybody played it, they drop in like a free multiplayer expansion.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, this is legit too. Like, exactly. I think those things, honestly, having not played the game because I refuse to play PlayStation, I think that they absolutely deserve it.
Yeah, I think I actually am gonna kind of go with what you said earlier. I think that Animal Crossing has a chance to win Game of the Year.
Oh snap! Look at you.
Because I don't know, like Animal Crossing was just like such a mainstream game that like so many people could just like pick up and stuff. It was just kind of like a game for like casual gamers and everybody, you know, and
That's true.
so I feel like that there's gonna be a lot of people that are probably gonna cast their votes for Animal Crossing. Maybe not. Maybe something else. I sincerely hope that The Last of Us Part 2 doesn't win because it was terrible.
It would be kind of weird. For everything, I get that there was a lot of controversy and stuff, but the fact is, like, it left the fan base pretty divided.
They did. Yeah.
And, it's one thing to like look at a game and go like, oh, it wasn't perfect or whatever, like, because that's what I've heard. You hear like, oh, it wasn't perfect, but it was really good, or blah blah blah.
Mhm.
But like, for a game to just straight up split the fan base right down the middle, where people feel like some of the things that were done weren't, good, or like felt like a slap in the face, like watching some people's reaction to the game and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. There's a difference between being divisive and being surprising, and I think that game was a lot more divisive than it should have been. I think if it wins, it's one of those things like the Academy like refusing to nominate Black Panther for an Oscar. It's one of those things like, no, like we can't like not let this game win because it's the most artsy of the games that we have.
Right.
But I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like there's way more talk about Animal Crossing. It's like once The Last of Us was beaten by all the streamers, like I didn't hear anything about it again. Everybody just stopped talking about it.
Yeah.
Except for the occasional thing where you hear like the head of the game like taking shots at fans.
Yeah.
Like other than that, like you didn't really hear nothing about it. But like yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, The Last of Us Part 2 is literally like the Last Jedi of video games, and it's I don't think it's going to win.
No,
but I could be we could be surprised. So we'll see. If it
2020
does,
season finale.
Yeah, if it does, then I'm gonna flip. out.
Yeah, it's 2020 season finale, man. Anything can happen.
Yeah,
you just never know, man. Somebody's got to get eliminated from the island, and somebody's got to take that cake home at the end, and you got to get viewers to come back for 2021. So you got to drop the big bomb at the end of 2020.
Yeah,
so everybody comes back for the next season.
I mean, you're right. You're right. And let me tell you what, season 2 might be even more crazy than season 1.
That's what I'm saying. Me and my buddies have a joke going on right now that what happened was at some point some aliens came to the planet and pulled a Rick and Morty and were like, basically, hey, you're on like a national TV show and people are really not liking the direction of the show. And if we have to cancel you, your whole planet gets blown up. So all this has been this year is like the powers that be trying to keep the ratings up in the show.
Yeah.
Like,
it's possible. It's possible. Yeah. I mean, for all we know, we might just be simulations in some sort of alien video game or something.
Yeah, they're like, listen, like games, the player base is dropped. We got to do something crazy. Start releasing viruses and jacking up elections and
fire everywhere.
Fire everywhere. Listen, just either that or we're part of a simulation and some guy just fell asleep on the keyboard.
Yeah, maybe.
Fell asleep
maybe.
And he hit like a bunch of buttons, a bunch of hotkeys popped off at the same time. He's like, "Oh no, man! I was playing Sims and I made a big mistake."
Man, that guy! I tell you.
Yeah, that guy, Mr. Keyboard guy, running the simulation. Man, what a jerk!
Yeah, you got to figure out how to get out of the simulation and assassinate him
or something, man. Be like, hey, bro, this is not cool, man. About to get bad too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying, man. So we gotta. I don't know. I could, maybe last minute, Last of Us 2, pulls out the win, and then everybody's like, nah, this is bullcrap, and everybody gets mad and they boo at the Game Awards, and who knows?
Yeah,
who knows? Yeah,
I will be so happy if it doesn't win. I will be so happy.
Yeah,
it's going to be fantastic. So
I it all depends to me on how they deal with how they deal with voting on things and deciding what is okay and what isn't.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens with that, let's actually, I wanted to throw out the other multiplayer games here and see what you think about these two.
Okay.
Where is it? All right, so for multiplayer, they had Animal Crossing New Horizons, Among Us, Call of Duty Warzone, Fall Guys, Ultimate Knockout, and Valorant.
Yeah, it's Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us.
Yeah, like come on, like there's just no way.
I think Among Us is probably gonna take it. Yeah,
I
hope it does, because I think that'd be really cool, because Among Us was just like such a small indie game and stuff, you know, before it blew up. So I think that'd be really cool if it took it. I really do. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I just think that I don't know. I just think that it's one of the most popular games like of this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it blew up. I mean, it's still super popular.
Yeah.
Even if it's like waned a little bit, even. But like, yeah, I mean, you know, it's something when your popularity of your game jumps so high, you cancel the sequel to get back to work on the first game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I got to give it to them on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's I'm not sure exactly when. Let's see. Winners will be revealed live on Thursday, December 10th. So
we'll right around the corner.
We'll definitely talk about it when the ceremony comes out and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. That'll be fun. Speaking of other video game stuff, we have some DMCA drama going on. Do you wanna take the lead on that?
All right. So listen up, folks. I don't know how many of you have heard of it, but the Big House. It's a big Smash Brothers tournament. It happens every year in the United States. They've been doing it for a long time. And this year, because of COVID, because of everything that they've been trying to do, and companies trying to be responsible, the Big House decided that they were going to run a tournament online with Super Smash Brothers Melee, which came out a long time ago, 2001. And they were going to run the tournament. They had it all announced. And in order to do the game online, they had to use an emulated version of the game. And so they were going to run an emulated version to play the game, to run their tournament. And they got hit with a big old cease and desist letter from Nintendo.
Oof.
Big. So I'm going to read the statement here.
Oh boy.
Because I thought that this was interesting. Nintendo appreciates the love and dedication the fighting game community has for the Super Smash Bros. Series. We have partnered with numerous Smash Bros. Tournaments in the past and have hosted our own online and offline tournaments for the game. We plan to continue that support in the future. Unfortunately, the upcoming Big House tournament announced plans to host an online tournament for Super Smash Bros. Melee that requires use of illegally copied versions of the games in conjunction with a mod called Slippy during their online event. Nintendo therefore contacted the tournament organizers and asked them to stop. They refused, leaving Nintendo no choice but to step in to protect its intellectual property and brands. Nintendo cannot condone or allow piracy of its intellectual property.
Wow.
And then,
wow,
here's Big House's response, just so that we have both sides.
Sure.
The Big House is heartbroken to share that we've received a cease and desist letter from Nintendo of America Incorporated to cancel our upcoming online event. We were informed we do not have permission to host or broadcast the event, primarily due to the usage of Slippy. Sadly, all our competitions are affected. We are forced to comply with the order and cancel the Big House online for both Melee and Ultimate. Refund information will be sent shortly. We apologize to all those impacted.
That is actually insane.
It is. And, my thing is, the game is from 2001.
Right.
This isn't like somebody took the newest copy of Smash Brothers and their online stuff and was like, no, we don't want to do that. We're going to do our own.
Yeah.
No, you took a game from a GameCube and we're like, hey, we can't play this online correctly. We got to use an emulated software to do it so that we can play it online, so that we can maintain the integrity of, COVID protocols, keep everybody safe, and let everybody have a good time. And Nintendo's response isn't, hey, don't do that, or hey, let's offer an alternative, or hey, maybe we can do it this way. It's, hey man, stop. We have to protect our intellectual property. Do you know how many copies Smash Brothers Melee we still sell to this day? It's not apparently enough to cancel a tournament and make people hate you.
It's so dumb. How long have they been doing? I mean, how long have they been doing this whole big house thing?
Well, I mean, I know that they're the longest running ones.
Wow. That's just crazy, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me when they do that type of stuff. Like, I've seen this happen before, especially with Nintendo. I've seen this happen before with Nintendo and stuff, where they have like the biggest stick ever up their butt, and they do not want you to be using their stuff very much.
No, it's been around since 2011.
Wow.
2011, and they had to cancel this year because Nintendo was like, nah, bro. No.
Jeez.
Not only that, but it's in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
Really?
Right around the corner from us.
Wow.
Right across the way from us. But listen, you know, I get it, Nintendo. You want to protect your thing, but like, it's no different than all of the crazy stuff happening right now with Twitch, with all the DMCA strikes. You know, it's no different than, you know, people on YouTube humming 3 seconds of a song and getting striked. All these big companies are like, we want control of our intellectual property, but then turn around and don't do anything with it.
It's so dumb. And the genuine question that I have to ask is, how is it harming the sale of your product by allowing people to hum 3 seconds of a song or whatever else? How is that harming? I mean, it's not like people are just gonna like clip that 3 seconds of you humming a song and listen to that instead of listening to the actual song, you know? It doesn't, like, I can get it if like people just like straight up just like take the song and just like stick it up on YouTube without any sort of, you know, creative freedoms with it, you know, without
absolutely
any of that, you know. I totally understand that, but if people are like using something like that in a creative way or whatever else, or what, you know, what have you, then I just don't understand it. I don't understand what is so bad about it. People are either going to buy your music or they're not, you know?
Yeah. Well, so, that's the thing. And I think the precedent that's set is that it's lazy. I just think it's laziness. If you say, you know what, we don't have any tolerance for this, and if anybody does it, we strike you, well then, like, then you set a precedent where people go like, well, then I'm not going to deal with your stuff, or I don't want to be a new, you know, I don't want to deal with it. Or like video game publishers now all of a sudden, because they want their games streamed so they can make money, stop licensing your music, you know, all kinds of stuff. I mean, it sets a terrible precedent. But then if you're like, hey, we're willing to work with people, and if you break this specific policy, you're going to be punished for it. If we say, hey, listen, this super big tournament that's been going on since 2011 is breaking a policy that we normally have, and the issue is that they're changing the game, or they're like lying about something that they're doing. I mean, like, it's not a pirated copy of your game if they can't play it. They obviously were playing it before.
Yeah.
They obviously like didn't, you know, if I went out and bought your game and then I used an emulator to play your game, I spent money on your game.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I didn't, you know, I'm not distributing your game to other people illegally. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I get some of it's a little hinky and you can get into gray areas, but I think, you know, for the most part, there's a way to look at this stuff and decide, is this stealing? Is this wrong? Or am I just being a prick about it?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it seems like it wouldn't be that hard of a thing to solve with some conversations and stuff. Yeah. Like, it seems like that they're just like, you know, lobbing bricks at each other from over a wall and stuff, instead of, you know, actually just going out and just like having a talk and stuff, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what it is. And like you said, like, Nintendo's known for doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
Nintendo's known for being sometimes almost notoriously out of touch with their fan base. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they had to deal with that. It's unfortunate that Nintendo couldn't see past their end of their nose with this. You know, like I said, and it's another thing too, if like you have online services provided for the game and somebody goes, well, I don't want to use those, I don't like those, and then well, then that's a conversation. Like, listen, you have the resources, even if but you can't use them. But the thing is, they were doing it because they were trying to be responsible.
Exactly.
You can't even say, hey, listen, we appreciate you guys being responsible. I mean, like, no, it's nothing like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, if people like took, I don't know, just even like with our podcast here, if people like were, taking clips from it and, obviously not just like straight up, just like putting them up on YouTube on their own channel or something, but like adding their own, interpretation to it or whatever, that'd be great, because that would be better for us. That would be beneficial to us. It would be like giving us awareness and more outreach and everything else.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah,
like I think a lot of this is just a lot of like, these people still have a very archaic view of the internet in a lot of ways and stuff, and they aren't really keeping up with the times. And I don't know. It's
even the DMCA. The DMCA was created, I believe, in like 1998 or something like that, and hasn't or 1999. It hasn't been updated since then. Like, and they didn't take into account anything from 1998 was when it was originally published. I'm like,
that's ridiculous.
Yeah, the internet is vastly different than anything we had in 1998.
Exactly.
And to not take into account streamers, not take into account all these things, and then not be willing to update the program or the amendment, amend things and change things, is to me just profoundly lazy anyway.
Very irresponsible.
Because then it's like, you know what, you don't even know, like, how many songs I've been introduced to from like TikTok, or not that I whatever, listen, don't worry about the TikTok. Well, like, you know what I'm saying? Or like, you're like watching a YouTube channel and somebody plays a song at the end, you go, oh, what is that song? I want to listen to that,
exactly.
You find like a new band or whatever. Like, could you imagine if like all of a sudden like TikTok videos started getting DMCA striked for using parts of their song? Like,
that's the crazy thing about it, is that like, in some of these cases, these streamers and stuff, like, this is their livelihood, and it can just be taken away just like in the snap of a finger, because they played a random song,
and then now what are you gonna do?
Exactly,
absolutely.
I don't know, there's a lot of those internet laws and rules and everything that sorely need updating. The internet is very, very different than it was when those laws were created, and
extremely different.
But that's the stupid thing about it too, is that a lot of these people that are in charge of these laws are people who are so out of touch with the internet in the first place. Like, they're just a bunch of old people who don't even understand the internet in the first place,
Absolutely.
And that's a big problem too. So
it absolutely is a big problem. It's like, hey, like, this is unfair to people that are, doing something new, doing something different in this time, and trying to find a way for themselves, like, and trying to find a new way to do things. I mean, us sitting here recording a podcast, like, we could potentially, if I say something, or like if I hum the tune to something wrong, I could be potentially like in trouble for that, and I'm just sitting here talking about something. Like, how's that fair to me? And how's that fair to anybody else, that's trying to find a way, when you have literally like a multi-million, multi-billion in some cases corporation looking down and going, hey, like, that takes food out of my mouth when you hum 3 seconds of my song, or when you run a tournament that literally is for a game that came out in 2001 that nobody plays anymore. Like,
because when you hum those 3 seconds, man, it makes just so many people just automatically be like, you know what, I'm not gonna buy that song now. I'm not gonna buy that song.
Yep. You know what? That's it. I refuse. I heard 3 seconds of that song, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna pirate everything that I can find. I'm gonna pirate so hard. I'm gonna pirate all your stuff. Like,
it's
it's just a very out of touch thing. It is, and it's out of touch, and it's unfortunate. I hope that Big House is able to get back on their feet. It's a shame for them.
It really is.
So, but yeah, I don't know. I get that, like, Nintendo is Nintendo, but I mean, even you know, with the stories you read about, like how difficult it is to like port games over to their consoles and all this other stuff too. You know, I'm like, I get that you guys have always kind of been doing your own thing, and that's fine. And you guys are killing it in the console wars. Like they are by like far and away the highest sellers of consoles. They make really cool stuff. They make great games, but also like there should be no excuse why you're that out of touch with your fans. Could you imagine how much more popular it would be if the people that are like considered hardcore gamers or hardcore fans of you were like being interacted with on a fair basis?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I totally agree. And I don't know. I feel like that it's yeah. I don't know. I agree with that. Didn't you say something about like CD Projekt Red kind of had a different approach to all of that as well?
Yeah. So here's a situation with a developer who has been, you know, in hot water throughout the year this year, doing something kind for their people. So apparently CD Projekt Red created a put in their game a setting where streamers can turn off the copyrighted music in the game. That way you can stream the game and not have to worry about being striked or having your channel removed or having your channel struck down or streaming privileges revoked because you accidentally played 5 seconds of I Like Big Butts.
Right. Yeah. That's, you know, that's awesome. You know, that's really cool that CD Projekt Red took that extra step to do that for
absolutely,
for streamers and for fans and everything else.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too. Like just on merit alone, like CD Projekt Red, I mean, like obviously, you know, there's that saying about like you can't be all things to all people and stuff like that. But like I appreciate the fact that like since this game has been announced, they've consistently went back and tried to fix things. They try to add in new things. Listen, they were inclusive in their approach to like character creation in a way that didn't say, hey, by the way, you have to do this or you have to do that. They're like, listen, we want everybody to have a good time with this game. And then they go, hey guys, so we could release a super buggy broken game, Bethesda, or we could release a game that's ready to go and that's ready to port not only to the current gen consoles but the next gen consoles.
Yeah.
You know, and we're also trying to look out for streamers because we want people to stream our game. You know what I mean? Like consistently one thing after another. And we want to put Keanu Reeves in this game because we guys all know how much you love Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. But like after all of that, you know, being the case and all of that being done, like you look at a developer like that and I go like, I hope you sell more copies of this game than any other game in history just because of how much you care about your fans.
It's true. It's really true.
Yeah. Like, I hope the game isn't a dumpster fire, and I don't think it will be. But, like, even if the game was a dumpster fire, there's, like, that feeling of, like, yeah, but they really tried. They really tried to, like, care about their fan base. And that's something that matters to me. Like, Sonic the Hedgehog wasn't the most amazing movie in the world. Right. It does not deserve an Oscar. It does not deserve a Best Animated Movie nod, but it's gonna because it's the only animated movie that came out this year. But you know, there was something to be said about the fact that it did so successfully. And I think a big part of that was because they were like, hey, fans, we want you guys to be happy with the product. We obviously want to do our own story. And I don't think stories and like storylines and writing should be dictated by fans. But you should be able to have an interaction with your people. Yeah. Know what people want or know what people are looking for. I mean, shoot, like Henry Cavill was like a fanboy of The Witcher and desperately wanted to be in it and work really hard. And they were like, you know what, man, you put the work into it. We think you earned it. And he did. And he earned it. And
oh, yeah, absolutely.
He killed it. But like you can see right there, like a fan, even though, yeah, he's a famous actor, that aside, like he was a fan of a project and they let him be part of it. And you can see that paying dividends. Yeah. Or like just as simple as saying, yeah, we really made Sonic look like an abomination from hell. So we're going to redo this and we're going to do it the right way. And everybody's like, you know what? You're getting my money for it.
Like, yeah. I mean, that was like such a huge surprise to the entire fan base when they did that. Yeah. And I think that the movie made more money because they did that.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. Yeah.
Yeah. Because people actually appreciated that they took the time to go back and change Sonic around to make him, you know, better. and it completely worked. It completely worked for the movie, and it completely worked for the fans. Fans went out, and I mean, the movie got pretty good support, and it was really cool to see, and people were very, very positive about that movie, and yeah, I think kind of the same thing is kind of happening a little bit with CD Projekt Red. I do appreciate that they are kind of delaying the game and stuff. I would rather have a game be delayed and, you know, come out to be a better game in the end, you know, a game that isn't going to pull me out of the experience when ridiculous bugs happen or glitches or whatever else. You know, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, that's what I'm playing right now. And as much as I love the game and I love everything about everything, you know, the Viking stuff, everything, there's still some really glaring bugs that are in the game that when they happen, it just pulls you out of the experience completely. And it's like, oh wow, that's super annoying, you know, like you couldn't have just taken, you know, an extra month if you needed to get some of this stuff figured out. I would have rather have had them do that, you know. So
absolutely.
You know, that's what I appreciate about CD Projekt Red. It seems like that they're taking all of the correct steps to make sure that when this game comes out, it is going to be a masterpiece.
Yeah, so. I hope so, and I think so. I mean, they're going to get my money just because of that attitude and just because of their take on things.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And I don't know, like even you know, kind of going back to some other things like Star Wars and stuff. Like if it would have been cool to see Disney take the feedback from The Last Jedi or whatever else and be like, okay, we understand you guys did not like this direction at all. We're going to take an extra year, you know, than what we actually took and stuff. And we're going to work to do what we can to try to make this a better experience for you guys.
Oh, absolutely. So, well, because their response, go ahead.
Go ahead about their response and
stuff.
Well,
the response was like, instead, oh, well, you don't like our movie? Well, you're a bunch of whiny crybabies.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna cancel every other project we have going forward with Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to bring in J.J. Abrams at the last hour to redo this movie, refuse to push the date back for the movie, and then like release a rushed, really confusing, poorly done movie that like ends the Star Wars saga, the Skywalker saga, on a whimper instead of the grandiose explosion that it should have been. And then after that we're taking a break from Star Wars for a while. I'm like, you don't have to. Like you literally don't have to. Like, nobody's asking you to not give us more Star Wars. All we asked for was for you to actually do a good job of writing Star Wars. Like, you know, like, you know, the Mandalorian isn't like universally received and the greatest thing in the whole world, but like a lot of people like it. A lot of people feel like it's a good Star Wars product. Like, awesome. They should be able to do that. They should be able to have that, you know, and it felt like they were trying to do a good job, and it feels like they're actually trying to like give fans what they want. And then, you know, the big studios like, hey, we have one of the most lucrative franchises in the world. We're just gonna do whatever we want with it. And then when people complain about it or say they don't like it or whatever, just be like, well, that's too bad. And then immediately try to pander to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that we're just living in different times than we used to. Like, I think that fan interaction and fan, I guess, participation in your projects is kind of like a big deal nowadays.
Yeah.
And, you know, the art form is kind of changing a little bit because of that. And, you know, people can get feedback from fans so much easier now than they could even just like, you know, 30 years ago, 40 years ago. So I think that, I don't know, I think that there's something to it when you listen to your fans, even if you don't take everything that fans say and stuff, obviously, to heart and use that to change your product or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just listening to your fans and appreciating their feedback, I think goes a long way. So
yeah.
I think
absolutely.
I think it shows itself every once in a while with things like Sonic the Hedgehog and even like even like sometimes Call of Duty is pretty good about that too, listening to fan feedback and stuff. Not always. Sometimes they miss the ball on it, but every once in a while they're pretty good at that, and I think that fans appreciate that. Whenever I see the Call of Duty experience, they appreciate it when they listen to the fans and stuff as well. So I think that's a good thing, and I think that's kind of part of the new age that we're living in, stuff where fan participation is important. So
yeah, oh, absolutely. And like you said, I like that what you said too about like Call of Duty and stuff. I mean, I get that they're like a massive franchise and stuff, but like they got way off base for a little while there.
Yeah,
and they got way out there. People were like, "Don't do this," and they were like, "No, you guys, trust us. You're gonna like what we're about to do." And they're like, "We already know what you're about to do. Don't do it." And they're like, "Listen, we hear you. We know what you guys are thinking, but it's not what you think it is." And then it was everything that we all thought it was.
Yeah.
And then nobody bought it, and they were like, World War II. Then,
yeah, right.
You know, but like and I'm not knocking World War II, but like, dude, like Modern Warfare was like a return back to form. Like, the game is actually a pretty solid game. I really enjoyed it.
You know? Exactly.
So yeah, they listen to fans and they're like, we want to do something different. We want to give you guys something that makes you guys happy and gives you something that you like to do.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Yep. And they got rid of loot boxes, and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna try to get rid of some of these scummy practices that we were being called out for." Like, they actually listened for once.
Yeah, exactly. And the system that they have now is so much better. It's so much better. Like, if you see something in the store that you like, you can just buy it. You know, instead of having to like try to get it from random loot boxes, which was just like the worst idea of all time. It was so bad. So I'm glad that they went that direction. And, you know, you have the battle pass as well, where you can, you know, basically it's just a one-time payment if you want to make it that way. And you can just get like the same battle. You can just get like the battle pass every time it comes out and stuff. And, you know, you get a bunch of cool stuff with that. And so it's a much better system what they have now. I actually don't have a problem with what they have now as far as the system goes with their microtransactions.
I don't either, because I'm like, hey, if I see something, I like it, and I wanted to buy it, I could buy it, and I don't have to, you know. And then I like that some of the exclusivity is people that did or didn't complete their battle pass. Yeah, you know, things like that. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Nope, I have no complaints about their monetary system now and how they're doing it.
And you know, they made Warzone free, which was huge. So you know, that adds to it as well. You know, and
skyrocketed their player base.
I guarantee you they're making more money with the microtransactions with that than they are if they actually like made Warzone like a sold product. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, right now, as of August 4th, they have 75 million users.
Yeah.
Like, that's insane. Like 75 million people.
I guarantee you most of those people have probably bought at least one pack from the store.
Yeah.
So, you know. That's
if everybody buys $1 things, $75 million. Yeah. But you know that there's way more than that. They're making way more than that. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's just surprising. I really like it. It's you always appreciate it when the fans get something more from something that they didn't expect.
Yeah. Exactly.
So, which I got something, a little surprise for you. I didn't mention this before the show. Little something I saw earlier today. This week that's coming out. The Tolkien estate will be releasing unpublished Middle-earth essays in a new book in 2021.
Yeah.
The Nature of Middle-earth. Yeah.
I saw that. Yeah.
I was like, this is awesome. Like, more Tolkien, more talks about why he did what he did, more talks about why Lord of the Rings is what it is. Like, dude.
I'm very, very excited for that. I
absolutely.
I can't wait. I probably will be getting it, and I probably will be reading it and stuff. I really want to get the 4K version of Lord of the Rings when it comes out this holiday as well. I need to get a 4K TV first, so we'll see if I can even do that. But but I would love to have the 4K Lord of the Rings. Like, oh my god,
absolutely, dude. Yeah,
it's gonna be be so good.
And there's a franchise that, I mean, with the exception of this new Amazon show, which we know nothing about, you know, like, that is consistently like tried to give back to the fans, and like the books stand the test of time. Like it's one of my favorite franchises out there.
Yeah, for real.
And I love that.
Good.
Yeah, like here we are in 2021, and we're still like, you know, almost 2021, but going to be getting new material and new insight into like Tolkien's world and like the thoughts and stuff. Like,
yeah,
you know, I feel like it's like a lost art form to have somebody put that much thought and care into like a universe. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah. No, Tolkien did something that no other author has even come close to touching when it comes to world building and stuff. Like he literally like created like several languages for his world and everything, which is just insane. Like,
dude, just stone cold killer when it comes to writing books, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's
shoot. Yeah,
it's incredible. I don't know, like he seriously is like one of the greatest minds of all time to be able to come up with an entire world like that and just have so much material on that world.
Oh yeah,
it's nuts.
It is nuts, dude. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm like, and I'm all for it, like every time. Like, and then also to have like those the adaptations of your movies be like the greatest adaptations like of a book of all time. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. I this Amazon show is not making me very excited. It's the more I find out about it, the more I'm like, I don't know, guys. I don't know if that's really.
I think it's hard to. I think it's a hard mark to miss to like get somewhere in like the vicinity of a decent adaptation. But like when it starts to feel like you're gonna try to copy somebody else's work with work that the thing you're copying was adapted from, like George R.R. Martin is like was inspired by J.R.R. Tolkien. Like there are like he like affects so many different people and so many different people's works. Yeah. And then to be like, well, we want like more Game of Thrones, like Lord of the Rings is like what?
Yeah. No.
Like
it doesn't work. It doesn't work.
No, not at all. It's like, I don't know. It's like saying, hey, we're gonna make our like own Star Trek thing that's kind of its own thing and like inspired by, you know, the reboot of the original thing, which Discovery is, and that's why nobody likes the show. Sorry.
Right.
But like, like that's what's weird. It's like the thing is like we're gonna use something that was inspired by the thing that we're doing to influence it. Like, no, that's not how that works. Like the thing is good because of what it was and what it was created to be, not because you want to adapt something that you saw that was cool now.
Exactly. Yeah. I think they're just straying way too far off the path with it from what Lord of the Rings is and stuff, and that's not a good thing. That's that's one of the impressive things about I think the Lord of the Rings films is that yes, they took some of their own creative liberties with it, but they were done to complement the story of Lord of the Rings in a movie format, and they at the end of the day they still kept pretty close to the books, and they still honored the vision and the spirit of Tolkien, and they had a lot of respect for Tolkien. Even like Peter Jackson talked about that all the time, and when he was making Lord of the Rings, was how he wanted to honor and respect the Tolkien and his vision and stuff. And I just don't really see very many people that are working on this Amazon show saying that type of stuff. So
no, and that's the unfortunate side of it. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, we're in a weird state with movies and TV shows and just like the approach to writing and the approach to like storytelling, and it's unfortunate because it would be really nice to, I don't know, hear or see somebody go, hey, listen, we're doing a new thing, or we're going to do something that's existing, and we're really going to take our time to like put together something that doesn't need to be a product of its time. Like, Lord of the Rings was written almost like 70 years ago or something like that now. And it's timeless.
Right. Exactly.
Like, and it's not, I mean, the setting is the setting, but it's timeless in that like nobody's looking at that going like, oh, here's all this like weird like 70s and stuff that they talk about in it, or here's all this like stuff from his time. It was like its own thing. Like even the original like Star Trek, as like dated as the show is because it's a visual medium, still has like some really like timeless ideas, approaches to life, like things like that, you know. Like same with Chronicles of Narnia, which is set back in the 20s, you know, like the 1910s, 1920s, like feels timeless. And yet like we have shows now that feel dated like 5 years later, you know, and then even shows that are supposed to be set in like other times and different things that feel dated in their approach to things because they were like, hey, we're going to talk about something that's happened. We're going to talk about like the environment and how, you know, to take care of the environment. But there was like ways to approach that are timeless idea of like taking care of nature or appreciating the place that we live in. That's like a universal thing versus like, we're going to talk about global warming in our TV show set in like 1876.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, you know, and I'm not knocking anybody that, you know, about like global warming or anything, but it's just that attitude of like, hey, we're going to take something that isn't timeless, is a product of our times, and infuse it into an idea that could potentially just address a feeling or a thought that would move more people.
Yeah, and I think that people will kind of definitely miss the mark on a lot of that. Like, I think you can take things that are more, I guess, you know, dated ideas or whatever, like things that are relevant now, like I guess global warming and stuff. Like, you could take an idea like that and make it timeless. Like, I think that Tolkien did that in some ways with I mean, he was very much into like you know, protecting the environment and stuff like that. And he kind of showed that a little bit in Lord of the Rings with like, you know, the Ents and Fanghorn forests and Saruman cutting down the forest for his industries and stuff. And but he did it in a way that wasn't like clubbing you over the head with like, hey, this is something that's going on right now, you guys better, you know, fix this or whatever. Like he's just like, I'm just going to incorporate this in a very natural way into the story where it doesn't feel like it's a glaring like thing, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah,
people just kind of miss the mark on that with a lot of issues that are happening today.
And it's unfortunate, and it's the sad state of like stories. And like, to be honest, part of that, I think that was part of the failings with like Star Wars, is like the attempts to infuse like modern day problems into a long time ago in a galaxy far away, instead of like things like good and evil being like the core aspect of it. They're like, oh, like how about not good and evil? How about like environment? And how about like Canto Bite and these poor horse rats that have been imprisoned? These poor, I wish I could put my fist in this pretty little town. And you're like, and they're like, war profiteering, and you're like,
yeah, exactly.
You're like, that's your big reveal. That's the thing you're swinging that's the thing you're banking your franchise on, is war profiteering, huh? Like, wow, congratulations, man. You're really breaking the mold with this storytelling thing, aren't you? Yeah.
Oh man, it's a shame. It really is, because once again, like the original Star Wars movies, they're another one of those examples of like a timeless thing, you know. And they are absolutely not that way with the sequel trilogy at all.
No, they're not.
Like, nobody is going to be caring about Canto Bite horses in 50 years.
No.
So
they're not gonna be like, man, you remember that one scene in The Last Jedi where they kidnapped those horse cheeses, and they were like, hey man, we gotta save these horses. And they were like, yeah, we should grab these horse cats and we should take them out of here.
Oh man,
it brought me to tears. It was the most amazing thing I've ever seen.
Dude, it was so bad.
It's so bad. Like,
man,
like no, this is not a thing.
No, it was it's seriously like one of the worst subplots I've ever seen in a movie. It is so bad. Wow.
Yeah, it's bad. But obvious transition.
Yeah.
But a relevant transition. Speaking of sequels that may not live up to the hype of the original, we got a new trailer for Wonder Woman this week.
Yeah. I haven't even seen it. I didn't even know if there was a new trailer.
It is a sad state of things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So I watched the trailer. Listen, I personally loved Patty Jenkins' Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought it was really good. I thought Gal Gadot. I'm going to call her Gal Gadot. If I'm wrong, she was in the military. She could probably kill me. She can show up here and kill me. There are worse ways to die than being killed by Wonder Woman.
True.
But she killed it. She embodied the role. I loved the movie. I loved how it played out. The ending's a little meh because, like, terrible CGI battles really don't hold up ever. But I love the movie. I really enjoyed it. I thought Patty Jenkins killed it. I was like, okay, I want more of this. And then we got announcements for 1984. And I was like, okay, they're doing a little 80s thing. We got it going. Let's see what happens here. And I watched the trailer and I was like, maybe this could be real good. Maybe it could also be real bad. And then as it's gone on, I've kind of been losing a little bit of faith. I hate to do that because I really do like Patty Jenkins.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like Gal Gadot. I want to trust that, like, they're going to do a good job with this. But man, oh man, do these trailers not inspire a whole lot of confidence?
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Yeah. And then we have, the bad news or good news, however you want to look at it, that came out this week with them splitting the movie, going to HBO Max and theaters at the same time.
Oof.
Which is, in my opinion, not good.
Oof.
I like, theaters are going to suffer so badly after this year. And oof. Yeah, it's not good. It's oof. Absolutely not good.
Listen, it's bad.
Theaters were already struggling as it was.
Yeah.
This year might have killed theaters.
Yeah, they were like, listen, man, we got to get people in these theaters. We got to do something. And then, the beer bug came along and was like, hey, you want to be put out of your misery? And you're like, please don't. It literally Negan the theaters.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now,
technically it wasn't really the beer bug, it was the government. But
that's fair. But, we'll just say we'll say that the beer bug was Negan and his baseball bat Lucille was the government.
There you go.
Yeah. And just came along and got to do something. Bam.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not even the comic book Negan. We're talking about the TV show where, like, we watched one character get killed.
Yeah.
And we think, that's it. All right, he killed his guy.
Yeah.
No. I got to come back.
He was just getting started.
Just getting warmed up. Now we're about to watch the theater get cracked over the skull with a baseball bat wrapped in barbed wire. Eye popped out the socket.
Yeah.
Bloody face.
Mm-hmm.
I'll find you, and then bam.
Yeah.
Put out of its misery. I don't want it to happen. I love the theater experience,
dude. Same.
But it's pretty oof.
Yeah.
And you're like, hey man, we're gonna split this right down the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
oof.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do?
It's so sad when you're a theater fan and stuff to watch this happen.
Yeah.
You're literally like going to the theater is one of my favorite things to do, like, ever. Yep. And just being able to just like sitting here and just like watching it die right in front of you is a pretty sad. And it's a slow death too.
It's a slow death.
Yeah. It's like this entire year you've been just like watching
it slowly get beat to death, clubbed repeatedly. And you're just like, I wish I could stop what's happening, but I can't. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like, if I could, I'd be there for you. And the theater's
exactly.
Like, I need help. And I'm like, I can't do nothing, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I don't know. It's I don't know what's gonna be happening in this next year and stuff, because the streaming thing was eventually going to be just like was going to take over anyway.
Yeah. You just kind of hoped it was more organic than this.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, we live in Michigan, so who knows what's going to be happening with the rules and all that stuff next month when it comes out on Christmas Day and stuff. But if theaters are open, I will be going to check it out. I will probably go watch the movie in theaters.
Absolutely.
In theaters.
Yep. Me too.
So, because I'm going to do everything I can, at least, to try to, keep theaters going as long as possible. Especially, when you have like a local, chain like we do, with Celebration Cinemas and stuff, like.
Absolutely.
It'd be really. It's even more sad when you see like a local thing like that,
slowly dying and bleeding out in the street. Yeah.
Something that you've just loved for so long and stuff, and has been there, ever since I can remember and stuff, so it's
very sad.
Pretty sad.
It's a shame. I would love to go to the theater. I'm hoping theaters are open by Christmas time, and I would love to go see Wonder Woman, and I would love to be pleasantly surprised and walk out of there like, man, was I wrong?
Yeah.
Was I totally wrong? But I don't know. I love Gal Gadot. She looks great. She looks great as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I like Kristen Wiig. Holy cow, does she look bad as Cheetah? I'm like, honey, you just not the one. I don't know that I could be scared of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like in any realistic way, at all. I just, some of the most compelling villains are characters that, like, if they're not going to be a physical match, like have like an emotional, like mental, like approach to things, and that's always fun. But like it kind of looks like they're trying to do the whole like, I'm gonna throw down with Wonder Woman, and I'm like, baby, you ain't the one.
Yeah. I
don't care how hard you hit that gym. I'm sorry, Kristen Wiig, you ain't scary. I'm not looking at you going, man, like you're gonna beat somebody up. I'm gonna be like, Kristen Wiig's real funny. She's hilarious. She's fun. I'm sure she's a great actress. I would love to be surprised. I'd love to walk out and be like, Kristen Wiig was a great call for this. But I'm just not seeing it right now.
No, I'm not seeing it. I don't know. I can't say that I'm like insanely hyped about Wonder Woman 1984. But I definitely will go check it out and see what it's all about. So
I get it. It's a DCEU. It's a lot of stuff. A lot of, there's a lot of people that don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even necessarily about that. It's just I don't know. I love the first Wonder Woman. I loved it. It's one of my favorite DC movies, probably.
That's fair.
So it's not really anything about that. It's just, I don't know. I haven't seen anything about it yet that it's like maybe just like super hyped and stuff,
Yeah, the same. I'm holding my breath, hoping that it does well.
Yeah,
but we'll see how that goes. But the one thing I can say, HBO Max is making a freaking killing right now. They're getting everything. They're like, hey, you got a new release? Give it to me.
Yeah.
And Netflix is like, well, would you guys like to see this real low budget horror film that we just bought from this random indie filmmaker? And you're like, not really. And they're like, well, subscribe to Netflix then. I'm like, yeah, but like HBO Max has like Wonder Woman, and they're like, listen, and they're not making me pay more for it. And they're like, shut up, just yeah. And Disney's
we're gonna give you a crappy indie horror film, and we're going to jack the prices again.
Would you like to pay more money? And then Disney's like, would you like to pay $30 for a film that nobody wants to see? And I'm like, no, I would not. And they're like,
nope.
Okay, well, we'll release it on Christmas time. And they're like, then I'll be waiting until Christmas, I guess. And I still won't watch it. Like, still not gonna watch Disney. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah, I'm probably gonna be making the switch to HBO Max. So we'll see.
I mean, listen, right now there's no reason not to.
Yeah.
Especially because also this week, guess what else we got this week? Guess what we got?
So much news.
A trailer for the Snyder Cut. The new trailer for the Snyder Cut.
I actually did watch that one.
Boom. Yes, you did.
I did watch it.
You know why you did? Because you're going to watch the Snyder Cut. And you're going to be like, man.
I will say, I am very curious to see what the Snyder Cut is going to be all about. I will absolutely be watching that. I'm actually more excited for the Snyder Cut than I am Wonder Woman 1984, simply because my curiosity is piqued. And you need to pique my curiosity if you want me to be excited about your product. So I am interested to see what that movie's going to be all about. And I honestly, I might just get HBO Max so that I can watch that, to be honest. So
you all heard it here. Vindication has never felt so sweet. Never has felt so good to listen to all of these people looking at Zack Snyder and his work and going, man, he really did it.
It could still be terrible.
Well, we all know it's not going to be.
Well, I mean, Batman v Superman
was great. And Wonder Woman was pretty good and pretty great. All I'm saying is everybody that's watched the trailer seems to be like, oh no, this might be a lot better than I thought it was going to be. Almost like
I can guarantee you it'll probably at least be better than the one we got from Joss Whedon. So so that's a good start. That's a good start.
It's a pretty good start.
Yeah.
Listen, we're on the up and up. This guy's it's moving on up.
Yeah.
The trailer, now while it was pretty similar to the first trailer, I love some of the new visual effects. Darkseid looks so legit.
Yeah.
I'm so pumped.
Mm-hmm.
Like Superman in his black suit looks amazing. Listen, I am so excited for the Snyder Cut. It is my most anticipated film of 2021.
That's awesome.
More than Dune. Listen, I love Dune. I love Denis Villeneuve. But if somebody was like, gun to my head, you got to pick Snyder Cut or Dune. It's Snyder Cut.
Wow. That's
every
crazy.
time. Every time. Listen, I looked back at on one of my Facebook feeds.
Mm-hmm.
A year ago, I looked, and there it was, Justice League, 3 out of 10.
Ooh.
Such a huge disappointment. I still remember the day I got out of the theater.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to go to the first showing of it. And I texted Josiah. He said, hey, I kind of liked it. What did you think? And I was like, 3 out of 10. And he said to me, he goes, that's a joke. For real. What's your rating of it? And I was like, not joking, man. B-, 3 out of 10.
Yeah. It was a slap in the face, let me tell you.
It was the biggest disappointment I have ever felt in a movie theater in my entire life.
Wow. That's saying something, because there's been a lot of disappointing movies.
There have been. But it was like I walked into a movie. It'd be like walking into a restaurant, a 5-star Michelin restaurant, or 3-star. I think you only have 3 stars, whatever. 3-star Michelin restaurant. And they go, listen, we're getting ready to serve you this delicious, savory steak made by one of the best chefs in the world. And then they come up to you with a big plate of doggy dookie. And they put it in front of you and they say, eat this. And you go, I don't want to eat it. And they're like, you already paid for it. So you better eat this. You better like it. Because Joss Whedon killed the director and then stole the steak and threw it in the trash and then pooped on this plate. You better eat it.
Not only that, but the poop looks like steak. So you don't even know until you bite into it.
It's poop-shaped steak.
Yeah.
And you don't even know.
Yep. Until you just sink your teeth right in there. And then,
it's poopy.
Yep. A lot of poop everywhere.
A lot of poop. Poopy in your teeth, poopy on the floor, poopy on the plate, poopy on your fork. Listen, I have never been that disappointed in my entire life.
That's so sad. That is really sad. Man. Yeah. Well, I hope for your sake alone that the Snyder Cut.
Don't do that.
will make up for that disappointment and redeem the movie for you. So.
And Snyder I trust, because I'm just saying, although it's still early, 2020 still got almost a month to go. Watch last minute. Zack Snyder has to drop out of the project. And they hired Joss. No, they don't even hire Joss Whedon. They hired J.J. Abrams to come back and finish the film.
And he just comes out and he's like, lens flares, everybody.
Yep, I reshot the film.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Hey, with everything that has happened in 2020, I would not be surprised. I will just say that. I would not be surprised if at the very last moment something like that happened, and we never get the Snyder Cut and ever. But I hope for your sake that doesn't happen.
If it ever happens, if that happens, listen, I give up on 2020. I give up on everything.
Yeah, I probably would too. Would too. I'd never go see a movie again if I was in your shoes. So, never. With that being said, that is going to be the show for today. Frick Ben, we don't need him, and
we're doing great without Ben.
We're doing great. In fact, I would say that the show is an improvement without Ben.
It's better than it was without Ben. We don't need him here. Man, you're not needed. Don't come back. Just abandon us, your friends, your family. We don't need you.
I'm not salty about it at all.
No, man, I'm good.
We don't need you. We're good.
Freaking good.
With that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for watching this episode, listening to this episode, however you experience it. We hope that you guys enjoyed. If you guys can, leave a like or a review or whatever else. And that really helps out the podcast a lot. So with that being said, thank you, everyone. And we will be back next week with another episode. So talk to you all next week. Bye.
Bye.